Most people go through life with unrealized potential. They wake up, work, struggle, and then wonder why things never seem to change. They believe deep inside that something more is possible, but they never access it. They think it's a matter of luck, talent, or some special advantage they never received. But the truth is, potential is not given. It's unlocked. It's not about what you start with. It's about what you decide to develop. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not intelligence, background, or opportunity. It's whether they take the steps to activate what's already inside them. Your potential is like a seed. It's there, waiting to grow, but it won't do so without the right conditions. It won't grow in neglect. It needs cultivation, care, and the right environment. And that environment, it's created by you. The way you think, the habits you build, the discipline you develop. All of these factors determine whether your potential remains dormant or bursts into life. You are not waiting for permission. You're not waiting for someone to come along and unlock your future. You are in control. It's your responsibility, your choice, and your power to decide whether you will activate what's inside you. Most people never realize how much is possible because they stop too soon. They set goals, but when things get difficult, they back off. They dream of a better life, but when it requires more effort, they hesitate. They think they are limited by their circumstances, by their past, by what they have been told. But the truth is, the only limits are the ones you accept. Every limitation is self-imposed. Every excuse is a choice. Every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. If you want to unlock the hidden potential within you, you must dismantle the barriers you've built in your own mind. No one is born at their peak. No one arrives fully developed. Everyone starts with raw material, some with more advantages than others, yes. But every single person begins with potential that must be shaped, tested, and developed. The question is not whether you have potential. The question is whether you will commit to unlocking it, whether you will take the steps necessary to transform what's inside from something dormant into something powerful. And those steps, they are not complicated, but they are demanding. They require effort, consistency, and a willingness to push beyond the ordinary. Most people want change, but they want it without discomfort. They want progress, but they want it without sacrifice. They want success, but they want it without struggle. And that's where they go wrong. Potential is not released in comfort. It is not developed in ease. It is forged in difficulty. It is tested in adversity. It is built through discipline. If you are not willing to step into the fire, you will never feel the heat of transformation. If you are not willing to endure the process, you will never unlock what's inside. You have everything within you to create the life you want, but you must decide to bring it out. You must decide that you will not settle for less than your best. You must demand more from yourself. Most people live on autopilot. They follow routines. They accept their circumstances. They let life happen to them instead of taking control. But those who unlock their potential, they live with intention. They set standards for themselves. They refuse to accept anything less than total effort, total commitment, and total focus. The first step to unlocking your potential is awareness. You can't improve what you're not aware of. You can't develop what you don't understand. Most people go through life blind to their own capabilities. They underestimate what they can do. They overestimate their limitations. They tell themselves they are not ready not qualified, not capable. But those are just stories. Stories they repeat so often that they start to believe them. And as long as they believe those stories, they remain stuck. Awareness is the foundation. You must see yourself clearly. You must understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You must know what's possible and what's required to make it happen. This is not about self-criticism. It's about self-honesty. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing the truth. It's about recognizing that where you are is not where you have to stay. It's about understanding that every day is an opportunity to change, to grow, and to expand what you are capable of. Most people avoid this level of honesty because it's uncomfortable. They don't want to see their flaws. They don't want to admit their mistakes. They don't want to accept that they have been holding themselves back. But real growth demands discomfort. Real progress requires that you confront the parts of yourself that need development. If you are unwilling to look at the truth, you will never change the future. Your potential is not a mystery. It is not hidden from you. It is buried under layers of excuses, fears, and old beliefs. And the only way to access it is to peel those layers away, to examine the stories you have been telling yourself, to challenge the beliefs that have kept you small, to recognize that every time you said, "I can't," you were choosing to protect yourself from effort, from risk, from the very process that would set you free. Most people live in a prison of their own making. They build walls to protect themselves from failure, from judgment, from disappointment. But those walls also keep their potential locked away. And the only way to break free is to dismantle those walls, to step outside the comfort zone, to decide that you would rather risk failure than live a life of unfulfilled potential. The moment you take responsibility for your potential is the moment everything changes. No more blaming circumstances. No more waiting for opportunities. No more wishing things were different. From that point forward, you understand that your future is in your hands, that your growth is up to you, that your success will come from your choices, not from luck or talent. Potential is like a muscle. It only grows when it is challenged. It only develops when it is pushed. It only becomes powerful when it is worked. And just like a muscle, if you never use it, it will atrophy. It will weaken. It will become smaller than it was meant to be. Most people never push their potential because they never push themselves. They choose the easy path. They avoid the discomfort. They settle for what's familiar instead of reaching for what's possible. Think about your own life. How many times have you held back because you were afraid? Afraid of failure, of rejection, of not being good enough? How many times have you chosen safety over risk? How many times have you said, maybe later, instead of demanding more from yourself right now? Every time you hesitate, you weaken your potential. Every time you make an excuse, you bury what could have grown. Every time you avoid the challenge, you reinforce the belief that you're not ready. The truth is, you are ready. You are capable. You are more powerful than you realize. But you will never know how powerful until you push yourself beyond what's comfortable, until you challenge the limits you have accepted, until you decide that you will no longer be the person who holds back. Most people wait for motivation. They think they need to feel inspired before they take action. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's weak. Discipline, on the other hand, is what transforms potential into reality. Discipline is what forces you to act even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what carries you through the discomfort. Discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who fail. You must build discipline like a muscle. You must exercise it every day. You must train yourself to act on command, to push through hesitation, to show up for yourself when no one is watching. Because the truth is, your potential does not care about your excuses. Your future does not care about your fears. Your success will not wait for you to feel ready. It will only come to those who are willing to step up, to take action, and to demand more from themselves than anyone else ever could. Most people think success is about intelligence, talent, or luck, but it's not. Success is about consistency. It's about showing up every day. It's about doing the work. It's about refusing to quit. And the reason most people never unlock their potential is because they stop too soon. They work hard for a while, but when results don't come fast enough, they slow down. They hesitate. They doubt themselves. And in that hesitation, they lose momentum. Momentum is everything. Once you have it, things start to happen. Opportunities come. Progress accelerates. Your confidence builds. But if you let hesitation creep in, if you allow doubt to take over, you kill the momentum before it even starts. The hidden potential within you is not a mystery. It is waiting to be discovered, to be unleashed. But it requires a decision, a commitment to step into a life that demands more of you. Most people go through life never realizing the power they possess. Not because it isn't there, but because they never take the time to uncover it. They drift through their days, reacting instead of creating, hoping instead of taking charge. But the moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, the moment you refuse to accept anything less than the best, everything begins to change. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, every great achievement, none of it happened by accident. It happened because someone made a decision to unlock their potential. They didn't wait for the right circumstances. They didn't let fear hold them back. They didn't waste time making excuses. They took action. And that action created a new reality. You have that same power, but it requires clarity, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to do what is necessary. Unlocking your potential is not about waiting for inspiration. It is not about hoping one day you will feel ready. It is about taking charge today. It is about demanding more from yourself today. It is about pushing past the limits you've accepted for too long. Every moment you spend in hesitation, in doubt, in fear is a moment stolen from the greatness that is already within you. And that greatness is not something you have to earn. It is something you have to claim. Most people never tap into their full capability because they never challenge the beliefs that hold them back. They accept limitations that were never theirs to begin with. They let past failures define their future. They let their environment dictate their possibilities. But the truth is, your potential is not determined by your past. It is not limited by your upbringing. It is not diminished by mistakes. Your potential is locked away, waiting for you to make the decision to unlock it. And that decision is the first step. No one is coming to do it for you. No one is going to push you. No one is going to force you to rise. It is entirely up to you. The moment you take full control, the moment you refuse to let anything stop you, the moment you decide to operate at a higher level, you will begin to see the shifts. You will begin to feel the power. You will begin to realize that everything you ever wanted was always within reach if you had the courage to go after it. The path to unlocking your hidden potential is not complicated, but it is demanding. It requires you to change the way you think, act, and move through life. It requires you to take full ownership of your results. It requires you to stop waiting and start working. It requires you to push past the comfort of your old habits and step into the discipline of a new standard. And that standard is not set by the world. It is set by you. Every excuse you make, every moment you waste, every hesitation you allow is a barrier between you and the life you were meant to live. But every decision to act, every moment of discipline, every step you take toward greater effort is a key that unlocks another level of your potential. And once you start, once you build momentum, once you see what you are capable of, there is no stopping you. This is not about talent. This is not about luck. This is about relentless, uncompromising, disciplined action. This is about deciding that your future is worth fighting for. This is about understanding that the only thing standing between you and your greatest self is the willingness to do what most people will not. And that willingness, that is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Every person carries a reservoir of potential waiting to be tapped. The difference between those who live at their best and those who settle for less isn't luck. It's not even talent. It's the willingness to reach inside and pull out what's been there all along. Most people go through life never discovering how much they're truly capable of. They move, they work, they settle into routines, but they never stop to ask themselves, what else is inside me? What else could I become if I decided to push a little harder, think a little deeper, and stay a little longer? That question is the beginning of everything. Because once you start asking it, you stop accepting the ordinary. You stop believing that this is all there is. This is just the starting point. Every moment is a chance to unlock something new. Every challenge is an invitation to discover a strength you didn't know you had. Every setback is not a dead end, but a detour that leads you to hidden depths of resilience and determination. Most people see obstacles as reasons to quit, but the disciplined see them as opportunities to grow. They understand that every difficulty is a lesson in disguise, a chance to learn, adapt, and emerge stronger. Winners don't avoid struggle. They embrace it. They know that nothing valuable comes without effort. And the more they push themselves, the more they uncover what's truly possible. Imagine standing in front of a locked door. Behind that door is everything you've ever wanted. A higher level of success, deeper relationships, a life filled with purpose and energy. But the door won't open until you find the right key. That key is not handed to you. It's earned through discipline, through sacrifice, through the relentless pursuit of your best self. Most people never take the time to search for it. They accept the door stays locked, and they settle for whatever comes next. But those who refuse to accept that, those who demand more from themselves, they go to work. They discipline their mind. They sharpen their skills. They develop the habits that create winners. And when they finally find that key, they realize the door was never meant to stay locked. It was waiting for them to become the kind of person who could open it. Your potential is not a mystery. It's not hidden from you. It's waiting to be released. The only question is, are you willing to do what's necessary to unlock it? Are you ready to break away from the average? Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not talent. It's the decision to step up. It's the choice to demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. Most people drift through life, hoping something will change, wishing they had a breakthrough, waiting for one lucky moment to turn everything around. But winners don't wait. They create their own moments. They make their own breakthroughs. And in doing so, they discover a level of potential that was always inside them, just waiting for the right conditions to emerge. Every day is a new chance to unlock something within you. Every choice you make, every discipline you apply, every moment you refuse to settle, it all adds up. And as you build that momentum, as you stack those small victories, you start to realize that you're not the same person you were yesterday. You're evolving. You're becoming. And with each step forward, you get a little closer to the person you were always meant to be. Question is, are you committed to the process? Are you willing to do what's required every single day, even when no one is watching, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like nothing is happening? Because that's the moment when real transformation begins. When you keep moving, keep pushing, and keep believing, long after the excitement has faded and the struggle has intensified. Once you understand that unlocking your potential is a daily decision, a commitment to continuous growth, everything changes. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. You stop looking for shortcuts. You realize that the key to your future is not outside of you. It's inside of you. It's the discipline to wake up early, the courage to step into the unknown, the strength to keep going when most people would give up. And when you make that decision, when you fully commit to becoming the best version of yourself, you discover that the life you've always dreamed of is not some distant fantasy. It's just a few hard choices away. The first step to unleashing your hidden potential is developing the discipline to control your mind. Your mind is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It can lift you to heights you never imagined, or it can hold you back with doubts, fears, and excuses. Most people let their mind run unchecked. They listen to every negative thought. They believe every fear. They allow their past failures to define their future. And because of that, they never tap into the real power within them. But those who win in life, those who unlock their true potential, learn to master their mind instead of letting it master them. Discipline means conditioning yourself to think differently. It means training yourself to reject the automatic negative thoughts that come up the moment you face difficulty. It means replacing "I can't" with "How can I?" and swapping "This is too hard" with "I'm just getting started." That shift in thinking is what separates those who settle from those who soar. Because winners understand that every thought is a choice, and every choice leads to a result. If you choose to dwell on limitations, you create a life of limitations. If you choose to focus on possibilities, you create a life of breakthroughs. Most people never realize this because they've been conditioned to believe their thoughts are facts. But winners know better. They know that their mind is a tool. And like any tool, it works better when it's trained and sharpened. The first step to discipline your mind is awareness. You must become aware of every negative thought, every limiting belief, every excuse that tries to take control. Most people never notice these thoughts because they've been thinking them for so long. They assume, this is just how I am. But that's a lie. How you are today is not how you have to stay. How you are today is just a reflection of what you've allowed your mind to believe up until now. And if you want to change your future, you must start by changing the thoughts you allow to take root. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," you must replace it with, "I'm becoming better every day." Every time you think, "This is too difficult," you must remind yourself, I've handled harder things before. Every time you hear the voice that says, I'll never change, and you must respond with, I'm in control of my growth. That internal conversation is everything, because the way you talk to yourself determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you get. Most people ignore this. They believe their inner voice without question, but winners question their inner voice. They challenge every negative thought. They replace doubt with certainty. They refuse to allow their past to dictate their future. Discipline means controlling your focus. Your mind will try to pull you toward everything that's wrong, everything that's missing, everything that's unfair. That's its default setting, but you must override it, because whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on problems, you get more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you get more opportunities. This is why winners train themselves to see potential even in the worst situations. They understand that every setback is a setup for a comeback. They know that every failure is a lesson in disguise. And because of that, they keep their eyes on the bigger picture. They refuse to get lost in temporary difficulties. They stay locked in on where they're going, not where they've been. Your focus is like a spotlight. Wherever you point it, that's where energy flows. Most people waste their focus on things that don't matter. They dwell on what's lacking instead of what's possible. They replay old failures instead of planning future victories. Winners protect their focus. They train themselves to ignore distractions. They refuse to waste mental energy on things they cannot control. And because of that, they move forward faster than everyone else. Discipline requires you to take control of your emotions. Your emotions will lie to you. They will tell you that you're not up to the challenge. They will make you feel like giving up is the only option. They will try to convince you that the struggle isn't worth it. But winners understand that emotions are temporary. They know that feelings are not facts. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you stop. Just because you feel discouraged doesn't mean you quit. Just because you feel like you're not making progress doesn't mean you're not moving forward. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions. Winners dictate their emotions with their actions. They take action first, and their feelings follow. Every time you feel like giving up, you must take one more step. Every time you feel overwhelmed, you must make one more decision. Every time you feel like you can't go on, you must keep going anyway. That's how you build mental strength. Every single person has hidden potential waiting to be released. It's not a matter of luck or background. It's a matter of discipline, focus, and a relentless commitment to growth. You don't have to be born extraordinary to become extraordinary. You don't have to have special advantages to achieve remarkable success. All you need is the right mindset, the right habits, and the willingness to push beyond the limits that most people accept. Inside you is the power to accomplish more than you ever thought possible. The key is not in waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions. The key is in taking immediate action, in deciding right now that you'll develop your potential regardless of the circumstances. Most people go through life unaware of the greatness that lies within them. They are trapped in routines, confined by self-doubt, and held back by the limiting beliefs that have been instilled in them over the years. But hidden beneath those layers of hesitation and fear is a force that, once unleashed, can propel them to heights they never imagined. This force is not something reserved for a select few. It is available to everyone. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent, intelligence, or luck. The difference is in the willingness to dig deep, to confront the obstacles and to do what is necessary to unlock that potential. You are not limited by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not held back by the circumstances that have shaped your life up to this point. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to take responsibility for your growth and to commit to the process, no matter how challenging it may be. Potential is like a seed. It doesn't bloom overnight. It doesn't reveal itself without effort. It requires cultivation. It requires the right environment. And most importantly, it requires the determination to nurture it every single day. You must understand that potential is not waiting to be discovered. It must be developed. It is not enough to believe that you have what it takes. You must prove it to yourself through action, through discipline, and through the relentless pursuit of improvement. Every time you hesitate, every time you make an excuse, every time you allow fear to dictate your choices, you are burying that potential deeper within yourself. But every time you push past the urge to quit, every time you choose effort over ease, every time you demand more of yourself than the average person would, you are bringing that potential to the surface. The path to unlocking your hidden potential is not complicated, but it is demanding. It requires a mindset that accepts no excuses, a discipline that tolerates no weakness, and a vision that refuses to waver in the face of obstacles. This is not about motivation that fades after a few days. This is about establishing an unshakable foundation of habits and principles that will carry you through any challenge. It is about developing the kind of inner strength that allows you to rise above mediocrity and to tap into the extraordinary power that is already within you. Every moment you waste doubting yourself is a moment you could have spent building yourself. Every second you spend waiting for the right time is a second stolen from your future. The time to unlock your potential is now, not tomorrow, not when things are easier. Now, because the longer you wait, the deeper your potential remains buried and the further you drift from the greatness that is meant for you. The choice is yours. Continue living at the surface or dive deep and unleash everything you are capable of becoming. Every man and woman has a reserve of strength waiting to be tapped. It is not a question of whether you have potential. It is whether you are willing to do what is necessary to unlock it. Most people go through life with immense energy and capability locked up inside, never realizing the force they could unleash with the right mindset and the right actions. This potential is not given or taken away. It is there waiting, but it requires a certain kind of discipline, a willingness to grow, and a commitment to push beyond the limits most people accept. The world is full of possibilities, and it is your responsibility to claim them. If you want to realize the full measure of your capabilities, you must be willing to step up and demand more from yourself. Because the truth is, no one is going to do it for you. Unlocking your hidden potential is not a mystery. It is a process, a series of deliberate steps that, when taken consistently, will reveal the power that has always been there. The first step is self-awareness. You cannot work on what you don't know. Most people live in a fog, going through their days without reflecting on their choices, their habits, or their true capacity. They blame circumstances, they blame others, they make excuses for why they are not where they wish to be. But the moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, for your results, for your choices, that is the moment you begin to see what you are truly capable of. Self-awareness is not about beating yourself up. It is about looking in the mirror and seeing the truth. It is about recognizing your strengths and weaknesses without delusion. And once you see yourself clearly, you can begin to make the changes necessary to unlock the next level of performance. Most people avoid this kind of honest assessment. They prefer to focus on what is outside of them, their circumstances, the people around them, the reasons why life is unfair. But the key to unlocking potential is realizing that everything you need to change is within your control. Your habits, your mindset, your discipline, your willingness to follow through. And once you accept that, once you commit to seeing yourself and your situation without excuses, you place yourself in a position to grow. Because growth is not accidental. It does not happen by luck. It happens when you start making decisions based on reality, not on what you wish were true. The second step is setting clear, compelling goals. Without a target, you will drift. Most people go through life without a clear direction, hoping that things will somehow work out. But hope is not a strategy. It is not enough to simply wish for a better future. You must define it. You must be specific about what you want and why it matters. Most people fail because their goals are vague. They say they want success, but what does that really mean? They say they want more money, but how much? They say they want to be better, but in what way? If you cannot articulate your goals with precision, you will never build the momentum necessary to achieve them. Goals must be measurable. They must have a deadline. They must be so clear that there is no room for confusion. Because when your goals are precise, your actions become focused. And when your actions are focused, progress becomes inevitable. Most people sabotage themselves because their goals are weak. They set goals that are too easy, too comfortable. They set goals that require no real effort, no real sacrifice. But true growth comes from setting goals that stretch you, that challenge you, that force you to become someone greater than you are today. When your goals are compelling, they pull you forward. They create urgency. They ignite your passion. They make it impossible to stay the same. Because every time you set a goal that requires you to step outside of your comfort zone, you are training yourself to unlock more of your potential. You are teaching your mind that you are capable of more. And every time you achieve a goal that once seemed impossible, you are proving to yourself that your limits were never as fixed as you believed. The third step is developing unshakable discipline. Without discipline, potential remains dormant. Most people have great ideas, great intentions, even great plans, but they lack the daily discipline to turn those ideas into reality. They start strong, but they do not follow through. They set goals, but they do not execute. And the reason is simple. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They wake up one day motivated, but the next day they do not feel like working. They let distractions take over. They allow small, insignificant things to break their focus. And as a result, they drift further away from the life they want. Discipline is what transforms potential into performance. It is what separates those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. Discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about making a commitment to consistency. It is about deciding in advance that you will do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Most people fail because they rely too much on motivation. But motivation is unreliable. Some days you will be inspired, but other days you will not. And if you only act when you feel like it, you will never build momentum. Discipline is what enables you to take action, even when your emotions are telling you to quit. It is what allows you to push through resistance, to keep going when it would be easier to stop. Because the truth is, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are unlocking more of your potential. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. And every time you follow through, you are reinforcing the belief that you are capable of greatness. Discipline is built through daily choices. It is not a trait you are born with. It is a skill you develop through repetition. Every time you set a task and complete it, you are training your mind to trust you. Every time you break a commitment to yourself, you weaken that trust. And the more you weaken it, the harder it becomes to follow through. Most people go through life making small promises to themselves that they do not keep. They say they will wake up early, but they hit snooze. They say they will exercise, but they skip it. They say they will work on their goals, but they get distracted. And every time they do this, they send a message to their subconscious. My word does not matter. But when you start keeping those small commitments, when you begin to follow through on even the smallest tasks, you are building unshakable discipline. You are training your mind to believe in you. And once you have that kind of trust, nothing can stop you. The fourth step is cultivating a mindset of relentless perseverance. Potential is meaningless without the ability to keep going when things get difficult. Most people give up too soon. They start with enthusiasm, but when they encounter obstacles, they back off. They assume that struggle means they are on the wrong path. But the truth is, every worthwhile goal will require perseverance. Every great achievement comes with challenges. Every level of success demands that you push through discomfort. And the people who unlock their true potential are the ones who refuse to quit, no matter how tough it gets. Perseverance is a choice. It is not something you are born with. It is something you develop through experience. Every time you decide to keep going, when the easy choice is to stop, you are strengthening your ability to endure. Most people avoid pain. They see struggle as a sign that they should turn back. But winners understand that struggle is a part of the process. They embrace it. They know that every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every failure is a lesson. Every moment of difficulty is a chance to prove to themselves that they are capable of more. Because every time you persist in the face of adversity, you are unlocking another layer of your potential. You are training yourself to handle bigger challenges. You are proving that you are not easily defeated. And that kind of mental toughness is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Most people underestimate the power of perseverance. They assume that success comes from talent, intelligence, or luck. But those are just factors. The real difference between those who win and those who lose is the ability to keep going when things get hard. Winners do not stop when they are tired. They stop when they are done. They do not quit when they fail. They learn from failure and come back stronger. They do not let temporary setbacks define them. They let their persistence shape their future. And every time you make the decision to push forward, even when you are exhausted, even when you are frustrated, even when everything seems against you, you are proving to yourself that your potential is limitless. Perseverance is built through repetition. It is not something you develop overnight. It is a muscle that gets stronger every time you use it. Most people avoid difficult tasks. They choose the easy path. But every time you force yourself to take the hard path, to wake up early, to work late, to keep going when you want to quit, you are training yourself to be unstoppable. And the more you train that muscle, the less likely you are to back down. Every challenge you face becomes an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. Every obstacle you overcome adds another layer to your character. And every time you choose perseverance over comfort, you are unlocking more of the power within you. The fifth step is surrounding yourself with a powerful network of support and accountability. Your potential is influenced by the people you allow into your life. Most people underestimate the impact of their environment. They think they can rise above negative influences. But the truth is, you become like the people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with those who are constantly complaining, making excuses, or settling for mediocrity, it will drain your ambition and limit your growth. But if you place yourself in an environment of high standards, where people are driven, focused, and committed to their growth, you will elevate naturally. You'll raise your standards without even trying. You'll push harder, think bigger, and hold yourself to a higher level because you're surrounded by people who expect more. Accountability isn't about pressure. It's about presence. It's about knowing that someone is watching, not to criticize, but to remind you of who you said you'd be. It's about being surrounded by voices that won't let you quit on yourself. Because let's face it, some days you'll forget your power. Some days you'll doubt your ability. And on those days, you need people who won't let you settle. People who say, you've got more in you. Keep going. Most people never unlock their potential because they try to do it alone. They believe asking for support is weakness. They think needing a push is something to be ashamed of. But the strongest people are the ones who seek alignment, who know they don't have to carry the full weight alone, who build a circle that reflects the level they're committed to reaching. So build that circle, find mentors, build peer accountability, seek out people who live with integrity, who speak truth even when it's hard, who walk their talk. And when you do, when you align your environment with your vision, you make it almost impossible not to grow. Your potential is not unlocked through wishful thinking. It's unlocked through action, through discipline, through relentless pursuit, but also through people. People who see you clearly, who won't let you fall back into old patterns, who remind you of your mission when the noise gets loud. At the end of the day, unlocking your hidden potential is about one thing: deciding that who you've been is not who you have to remain. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, from this moment forward, I demand more from myself. I commit to the process. I will not stop until I become the person I was born to be.